So here's some things I would tell my younger self. And number one is start your day for you. So rather than scrolling or emails or, what does everybody else need? Have in mind already, what is your morning ritual that you need? And how does that align with what your top values are? So what kind of movement or stretching or prayer or intention for your day? So show your brain, like, what is it going to look like? And that leads me to number two is intentionally say yes to things. So if it's not a yes, it's a no. And there's going to be so many things that are tempting, right? You have a big heart and you want to help people and there's lots of great causes and or lots of great fun things to do, but unless it was aligned with what you were choosing, then it's a no, which comes with some boundaries, right? We'll talk about those in a minute. And then number three, watch your language. So subconsciously, we are constantly telling ourselves what our world is and how we relate to our world. So are you going to say, oh, I have to, or I must, I should? That is so disempowering, right? Can you feel it in your body? And so instead, it's, I get to, I want, I choose. And so focus on like, this is your life and it's important. So align yourself with that language of empowerment. Start your day empowered, start any interaction empowered, even when you have fear of failure, right? You're going to be showing your brain, oh no, there's limitations, it might go bad. And then your brain's looking at all those possibilities instead of, okay, here's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to look for our common ground, or I rehearsed that thing, or I'm going to be super present so that even though I rehearsed, I can still modify in what I need. So you feel the fear, but you use that to energize preparation and be really conscious with your language in what is possible. What will you do? Number four, track your stories and your beliefs, like the things your mind is telling you. You can't believe everything that's up there, let alone the internet and the news. So, really question your thoughts. Like, is that really true? Or is it just how I feel right now? Is this the only possibility? Or could something else be true? What if the opposite was true? What if there was no barriers and this is entirely possible? Then what will you do? So really question those beliefs. And your brain is great for organizing and tracking and making lists and keeping you on task, but it's not the best at telling you the truth. Our feelings, our chemical reactions will often shape what we buy into, right? So if it feels this way, then it must be true. Yeah, not so much. Maybe I feel that way because I'm telling myself this thing. So track your thoughts. Number five, we are all works of art in progress. Like you're not going to get there. I know you are striving so hard and think that, by the time you're 30, you're supposed to have it all figured out. Well, let me tell you, I hope we're learning for our entire lives. So it's okay to learn. What is this situation teaching me? How do I get to grow right now? Right? What is this showing me about life or about myself? And so really let yourself learn from different situations. You came to Earth to grow. So look at what you can do with what you have. Number six, you deserve support. You don't have to do it all alone. So whether that means hiring an accountant for your business or an attorney to figure out corporation stuff or just different professionals, right? Go to the hairdresser and say, what do you think? So let other people do their job. You don't have to be the best at everything. You deserve to have support. You deserve to have guidance. So listen to elders. It doesn't mean you have to automatically do what they're saying, right? But consider what their stories are and see what resonates for you. And, there might be that over time you hear people say similar things over and over again, which in some ways is why I'm making this video. Because if you hear over and over again from other people, you might say, maybe there's something to that. I'll consider that for my growth. So surround yourself with people that already have their lives together or already emanate the kind of energy that you want. They're already creating in their life what you want. Those mirror neurons will affect you. I'm sure that you walked into a room and felt tension, right? Or if somebody's in a really dark place, then you feel that low vibration energy. Or if somebody's like so inspirational and they have very little limitations, you feel inspired by that. So consider who you're choosing in your life to be around so that they're a support and not a drain in your life. Number 7, do your own work. It's great to surround yourself by inspirational people and to allow yourself to be accountable, to track your thoughts and beliefs and try to do your own work. But sometimes that means getting support from a therapist or somebody who's already been there. And brain spotting, advanced EMDR, to work on that developmental stuff, the things you didn't get, fill in some of those gaps, rather than living from the old stories. So if you're having a hard time tracking your own stuff, like when you get all worked up about something and you don't know right where it comes from, or you can't steer it another way, then likely some advanced EMDR, developmental repair, somatic release, like get that shit out of your body, would be good for freeing you instead of always having to do cleanup or management about that early conditioning. So speaking of early conditioning, number 8, relationships. So it brings out the best in us, but it can also bring out the worst of us. And so sometimes we get mistaken that, to have a good relationship, it must have to be hard. And really, suffering is optional. So to be challenged in relationship, to see some side of yourself and go, oh, okay, I need to work on that. I want to go clear the story, or I want to learn some better self-care tools or stress management tools. That's great. You're growing. But to be in relationship with somebody shouldn't mean that you're compromising your own values, that you can't live the life you want, that you have to be screening, or even worse, walking on eggshells. That's not healthy. Yes, relationships go through times where they feel a little flatter or less exciting, or you have some conflict and you have to have difficult conversations. But the thing is, you should feel like you're in the same boat, right? Like that you're at least moving in the same direction. It's just you guys are paddling at different speeds and rates, and so you have to get back in sync. Suffering is optional. Number 9, it is never too early to start living the life you want. Quit saying, as soon as or once they understand, or if only. Have fierce boundaries, right? This is your life. Every moment that's ticking away is an opportunity for you to have life force and live your purpose and be authentic and show up in this world to make the world a better place, right? Like live your mission. Or if you're not setting healthy boundaries, then you're draining your energy. It's like giving away pieces of you, right? Here's 5%, here's 3%, oh, here's 10% there. And then there's less and less life force for you to be a healing presence in the world and live your life and play and have fun and be yourself. So set fierce boundaries. So number 10, allow the advancements to guide your life and keep you open-minded. So if you had a tough time with religion early on, don't shut it all out. I mean, even an MRI can show that when a traditional healer works on somebody remotely, like the person can be further away, and it still shows impact on their body. So if you're not going to believe in God at this moment, or you question because religion was used as oppression or you're bad, and you want to reject all that early on in life, stay open to what is possible. Tap into that quantum field. Go astral traveling. See for yourself so that you can feel in your body the amount of healing energy and light and how it just shifts you to a higher vibration. It puts things in perspective. It gives you broader view so that it's easier to problem solve. There's so much available in those realms, so give that a chance. Okay. Number 11. So release attachment to a plan. I know in your 20s, you are such a planner. You want to have a handle on life. You think that by having a good plan, then life will not be chaotic. But actually, it's a lot more resistance. So you don't have to know how to solve a problem. I know it sounds chaotic, except when we go to solve problems, we're doing it from a part of our mind that has no new information. It's all based on past information, right? Like what we already know. So when in the present, we can get aligned to our higher self and go to those astral realms or pray or meditate, like do the things that help you align. Then you open to possibilities. You remember, you reunite with your soul, right? You remember your wholeness. And once you're in that energy, then you hold space for the problem and you'll feel so much different navigation around it. I know this is kind of tricky. It has taken lots of years to practice this, but your problem solving will be so much more effective. So, one of the ways to prep yourself for that is number 12. Remember to breathe. I know that sounds so simple, but it's one of those foundations. So, one of my favorite is in for a count of 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and hold for 4. So you can do this while you're drumming or you're listening to meditation music and just keep repeating it. Or if you're at a red light, just do it 3 times. Or if you're curling your hair in the morning, do it 3 times. Just fit in time for breath because it'll reconnect you, but it also can reset that nervous system. And it's one of the ways just to keep grounding and being able to listen. Okay, number 13 is prioritize quality sleep. I know it doesn't seem important when you're in your 20s to get a lot of good sleep, lots of late nights staying up studying for physics tests or calculus or things that seemed really important at the time, those deadlines. But quality sleep is the foundation of your brain repair and being able to stay focused and remember all that information, to store away in your long-term memory all that information that you're cramming for now. So quality sleep all the way through your life will really help balance and help you make better choices for everything. Next, along the lines of health, your gut. I know, who knew that gut would be so important? Well, for you, it wasn't until your late 20s that the gut started going crazy. You could eat whatever you want in those early years, right? But really be aware that, now we know that like 90% of our serotonin is started in our gut. And serotonin is that feel good, like all is right, I can be calm, I can roll with this chemical. It helps us be a lot more flexible and not anxious and to be able to say more yeses than nos to life. So really prioritize gut health and stay up to date. There's lots of new information, things that, like, oh, here's a plant-based sugar that is a substitute that doesn't raise your blood sugar and it's great. Oh, wait a minute, it hurts your gut health. And so then there's a price to pay with so much more. Okay, number 15 is whole body health. And I know in your 20s, you're invincible. You could do anything. You can get away with anything, right? All-nighters, eat, drink, whatever you want. But your body tells a story over time. Remember that time you were playing hooky and you hit your finger with that basketball? That story is still told, right? Or, oh, that time that you fell crossing that creek in the snow and you broke your ankle and you had to crawl back in the snow. That still aches, right? So the body tells these stories. I don't want that to be my life. I want to be in the present and say, woohoo, what do I feel like doing today? Where am I going to go for a ride? How am I going to move? What am I inspired to do? So inflammation also affects your brain. So take care of all of it now. So low inflammation, just don't eat out of a box, right? Like eat real food and you'll be doing pretty good. Okay, number 16. Speaking of your whole body, oh, all those days of pressure to just be thin. Well, it's not strong, it's not healthy, it's not vibrant. So it's nothing to be proud of to go long stretches of under 1,000 calories or under 800 calories a day. That is not giving your brain and body the nourishment you need. Our brains need fat, healthy fats, and we need the right amount of calories. So instead of focused on how much can I not exist? How about how much can I nourish myself and be strong so I show up vibrantly in the world? I want to be backpacking well into my 70s, so we need to stay strong to be able to get to those mountains and get that quiet time that we love. Number 17, adorn yourself in the way that feels right for you. So if you're feeling earthy, like just go natural, right? If you're feeling a little sparkly, then put on some sparkle shadow or put on some glitzy things, but let it be aligned with what's on your insides, right? Whatever your energy is in that day, project that outward. So if you want to wear flowy and frilly on the days that that's where your energy is, then great. If you want to feel strong and powerful and, then I don't know, black and slick or leather or whatever works for you. So let it be driven by the inside. Define your world, co-create with the world instead of being created and pressured by it.
So something else I would tell a younger version of myself is you gotta have balance. It's awesome to know within yourself that you are a hard worker and you'll do whatever it takes. But without balance, what's it all for? So make yourself a pie chart and ask yourself, what's really important to you? So health, fun and freedom, financial stability, play, hobbies, people. So make a pie chart and make sure that they're all getting fed. It's fine to have passion and really go, go, go at times, but remember that time you were working till 2 a.m. and then you realized like they're gonna keep giving me work, right? Don't keep doing that. Even that time it took me working 2 to 3 jobs for 3 years. I don't even remember those days. So when we just go, 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 we're actually not working smarter. We're not balanced. And so we're not our most creative, innovative, smart selves. So in hindsight, I would have stayed balanced and kept reevaluating the plan instead of thinking, I've just got to push through. Balance. Isn't that beautiful? That's balance. I was going to do the whole recording today, but then instead, my friend said, let's ride. So this is happening instead. So how do we know? Well, we need to tune inside. So do you feel like going to climb a mountain today? Or is it more of like a stroll in the woods kind of day? Is it go be around a bunch of people, which can be fascinating and creative and fun? Or is it time to be reflective and introspective or refresh? Right? That balance comes from whatever we're feeling inside.
Okay, number 20. Nature is such an amazing teacher. So I remember seeing on a hike one time a tree that had fallen over, and the roots, just the very bottom of the roots were still in the ground, and all the other roots were facing out, not, just air. And yet at the end of that tree, it had already started to grow up to the sun. And so it taught me, like, keep looking for the light instead of focusing on what's gone wrong or how bad the situation is, or I've fallen and I can't get up, like to find some kind of way to look toward light and know what to go toward that is life-giving. Another lesson from nature was that tenacity isn't always my friend. Like, it's not always about push, push, push. Because one time I took a day or a week off, end of August, right before school started again. And I wanted to hike the whole week. And this particular day, it was pouring down rain, but I wanted to go to the mountain. And so I started on a hike, a high alpine hike, and it started freezing rain. And I'm like, whatever, I'm going. Like, I can be uncomfortable. And then eventually the winds picked up and that freezing rain was smacking my cheeks and it stung, but I'm like, I'm going. And then it turned into snow and I was just, nothing's going to stop me. It's just a little snow. Well, nature taught me that day because when I finally couldn't see the path in front of me and decided to turn around, well, I also couldn't see the path on the way down. So I really had to guess my way. And that particular year, there were 3 missing hikers. So it was pretty serious business. So, having this attitude of, I just need to plow through and that is strong, there's more to it. So let nature be your teacher and find how to refine where there's times to push through, but like the leaves let go of their branches, maybe there's times to let go of a plan as well. Okay, number 21, have ways to soothe your nervous system. So we talked about breathing, but there are all sorts of ways that in nature, right, animals will have a scuffle, but then they'll shake off and they'll all be fine. Your dog taught you when he would go to the dog park, right? One minute he was like, don't jump on me. And then the next minute, like, oh, you want to play? So really being able to shift gears quickly. Well, when our nervous system is amped up, especially from childhood conditioning, like you could always be hypervigilant or always kind of dampened down and withdrawn. So we want to keep resetting our nervous system to be able to be in the moment. So do any kind of soothe or release, even 15 seconds, but throughout the day so that you're in the now, right? Your nervous system is in the now and it's not jumpy. Like, it could be funny when your coworker comes around the corner and both of you leap, but it's actually a sign that your nervous system is a little strung out and could use some resourcing. Okay, speaking of resourcing, number 22, have a way to look inward. Like, how will you know whether you need to soothe or release if you're not in connection to that inner self? So, our brainwaves show that whether it's prayer or meditation or a walk in the woods, they all look the same. Like they're all ways of calming things down inside. And that leaves some space for you to be like, hey, how's it going in here? Right? Like magic school bus it, go down in there and hang out in some areas, get out and walk around. Like, is it feeling tight and amped up? Or is it feeling really chill and open or peppermint patty, like an open breeze and calm, refreshing, right? So have ways to look inward so that you can hear those inner voices, that inner guidance of, I really think it's worth taking that risk, or, ooh, I want more of this in my life, or, I've got some hesitations about this. I want to look at that more mindfully. Number 24, practice gratitude. Like all day, every day, if you can. It's so good for your brain. But, in your lifetime, you are going to earn in interest or whatever, investments, a whole year's salary in a day, and you're going to lose it all in a day. It's not about the stuff. It's not about the amount of certificates you have. It doesn't matter how much you have accomplished. Like all of that are just distractions. Sure, they can, be enhancements in your life or things that you use to live your mission or to honor your values. But if you're driven by them, if they define you, so if you're really like, oh no, I'm such a failure because, then it's more your ego mind. You're not living the truth of who you are. So when you can align with who you really are and get your identity from those values, like know your mind and your body, your spirit, your emotions, like know your personality, know what matters to you. And that is who you are. And that is unwavering despite whatever's going on in your life, whatever lessons you're having at the time. Be grateful for the lessons because it also resources your brain. So even at the toughest times, find what you can be grateful for. It resources your brain so that you are better capable of navigating your way through. So it's not about pretending that the situation doesn't absolutely suck and that it's really hard for you. It's about getting yourself to the what can I do with what I have? And how is this serving me? How is this just part of my growth, right? Like maybe I'm that caterpillar who's turned into the butterfly, but I'm still in that, that shell, that chrysalis, and I can't get out. It's uncomfortable during those times. So stay grateful. And number 25, to me is the most important is to show up for the divine. Remember that you are the divine, right? We are all one. We are all from the same source. And so keep lighting up that connection to, for me, it's God. So keep aligning with what is and remember who you are. You'll learn from your journeys, your times from the darkest night of your soul, like when you are the most in surrender of, please help me. Remember the you deserve support, right? Please help me. Please show me the way. I don't know how to solve this. Let go of the planning, right? So be open to possibilities and you will be held in love and light in a way that you have not experienced as a human. And it will help put things in perspective. It will help you get through those darkest times. And it will help you remember who you are and what really matters, which helps you let go of so much of the noise. And so when you are asking for help from the divine, consider keeping it with of like, what is for my greater good? Or what is it that's going to be for my growth? Our human, our ego mind can define it with, if you could just get that job to change in this way, or if you could just get that person to do that thing, that is so limiting. Remember, based on our past conditioning or just from our thinking mind, what we think is going to solve the problem, rather than like in this conflict with this other person, please help me see a way where, we both grow from it, or that we both can be our higher selves through it, instead of that, the winning or the ego mind way. I personally love watching near death experiences. And someone once said, prayer is the participation in the ongoing act of co creation. And your whole life can be co creation. It doesn't have to be, it's done to you, or, why me in that victim mode. Remember, watch your language. And so it's all about, how can I be in this moment and accepting of this moment, even when it's hard, but to get support through it. And for me, that's in the connection to the divine, so that I can feel that in my heart. When I don't feel light at all, it's there. When I feel alone, oh look, then I get held. When I don't think I'm a good person or good enough or should have figured that out, then all of a sudden there's unconditional love and support. So stay connected to the